Good evening,
There he is.
Drew.
There's my buddy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was nice. How about you?
I don't think we talked about this last show, but um mine was great, man. I
Okay,
mean, I
good.
really couldn't have asked for more. There was a couple little hiccups with some stuff that made it not super great, but
Okay.
overall it was really nice. So, um I had basically my entire family come in.
Nice.
So my dad, my brother, my mom, everybody came up, and it was super nice. It was the first time we'd all been together in a while, so it was good. It was really good. Mandy cooked. She cooked her ass off, and
Good
it
for
was
her.
good. What did you guys do?
The same thing we do every year. We went up to Jennifer's, my wife's sister's house, and my sister-in-law, she made Thanksgiving dinner, even though this year we did not have turkey. They made steaks, uh,
Oh,
which was
oh, tell me
which,
more.
which it's fine, Drew. It's
Okay,
fine.
you're a traditionalist. You want a turkey?
Oh, kinda. Yeah, I did. I did.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I'm with you. I love me a good bird. I really
Hmm.
do. I mean, there really is no official substitute. Now, I know some crazy people that have ham for Thanksgiving. I
That's
don't know. I don't know what that's about.
no, no. Like, I'm okay if you introduce other proteins into
Sure.
Thanksgiving, but you also have to have turkey. I'm
Okay.
sorry, but it's just how it is.
Now, just to just to dig in on this a little bit because I'm fascinated at this
Okay,
point.
okay.
What kind of steaks?
Oh, I they were like little, like
I don't like the
I
word. I don't like that adjective little. But
no,
go.
no, no. I mean, they weren't huge. They were like maybe like 10-ounce steaks. I think they were just like strips. They were fine. They were
They
fine.
weren't like little fillets or some
No,
some
no,
choice cut.
no. They were fine. They were fine.
Yikes. Now, is that okay? Sorry. I'm in on this topic because I'm curious.
you,
So
just, you found a wound, just digging your thumb into it.
no,
I
no,
get,
this
yeah.
isn't a wound. So I seek to understand.
Okay.
So is it a question of we want to do something different, or was it a question of turkey's hard?
They wanted to do something different.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Now, will this happen again?
I
Will
don't
this happen
know.
again?
I
Okay.
don't know.
Was it served with the same traditional sides? I mean, because
Oh
mashed
yeah.
potatoes would go with a steak. Hell yeah.
Yeah, they made there's mashed potatoes, there was baked potatoes, there were sweet potatoes,
Okay.
there was
Potatoes all the way
stuffing,
down.
potatoes
Mhm.
all the way down. Yeah, there was all the other normal Thanksgiving stuff. It was just and steak.
And steak.
And steak.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So what did you have to bring anything?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Didn't have to bring anything.
Man, we should have brought a turkey.
I thought about it, Drew. I thought about it.
Did you know ahead of time, or did you show up and you were like,
No, I knew it. We knew ahead of time. We knew ahead of
"Oof"?
time.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And how did everybody else feel about this decision?
I think my kids were. I mean, what are you gonna do, Drew? Like, they made the entire meal for us. We didn't do shit besides show up.
I,
So
I hear you. I, okay. All right. I mean, ooh, buddy.
yeah, I know it was.
Pumpkin pie still though, huh?
Yeah, pumpkin pie and Julie, that's the name of my sister-in-law. She did make a
Mhm.
terrific lemon meringue pie. It was
Okay. All right.
spectacular.
I'll fuck with that.
All spectacular. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Love me a meringue.
Oh, oh, it was good.
Cool. Yeah, so okay.
Hmm.
Cool. And did you take home any leftovers?
Nope. No.
We are feasting on
All right.
leftovers
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And my mom went home this afternoon. My dad and my brother, who have to drive back down south, they're leaving tomorrow morning kind of early. So
Okay.
yeah, but it was good, man. It was good. I have some follow up for you
Okay.
on your coffee machine.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Okay, so I want to be completely 100% truthful, open, and honest with you because I feel like that's what we're about here.
Mhm, mhm.
I have I have a listener in
Okay.
my life
Okay.
who took incredible umbrage with your choice of machine. And I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any names. He knows who
Okay.
he is, who's listening.
Okay.
He was very upset that you want full automation on this thing.
But there was reasons for that.
I know.
Yes.
But he is of the opinion that the actual process and the craft is being lost in here. You know, just like when those pesky iron horses came along and took away our other horses.
I mean, so they're still dialing in of the shot. I mean, it's just, you know, it's more about grind size than anything else at this point. But like, yeah, like it still can be really fiddly. So like,
Absolutely can be fiddly, but I think the fiddliness is what you sign up for with this, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
What makes it makes you feel any better? I took quite a scolding on my coffee brewing techniques yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I was tasked with the post coffee brewing after the meal. Now your boy doesn't have a coffee maker anymore.
Okay.
Your boy has an AeroPress, a French press, and a Chemex.
So did you go for the Chemex?
I went for the French press because only two people wanted coffee.
Okay.
So ground up some beans, boiled some water, put it in there, let it steep, pressed it down. My mom took a couple sips, looked at me, and said, "Huh." and I found out later that she brought her own coffee maker that she kept up in her room.
Oh,
That's my mom. Love her. Yeah, I what I really wanted to do is I wanted to kind of blindside you and have this person on the podcast to basically yell at you, but I'm like, no, I don't want to do that to Paul.
it's okay. It's fine.
As long as you're happy, that's what I told him. As long as you're happy.
Yeah, and you know, like my wife has actually taken an interest in it and is willing to use it. So there it is.
Now have you officially finished your dialing in period? Like, are you happy with how things are going?
Yeah, I am. It's good.
Okay.
Now, obviously, like we changed some beans up, and there were some differences there we had to deal with. But yeah,
change up the beans. Got to change the beans up.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to get that out there because the listener spoke. A lot of other people were like, $3,000 on a coffee maker. And I'm like, and my only response to that was, I was like, you shouldn't be shocked that Paul spent this much money on a coffee maker. No. You should be shocked that you didn't know what a good coffee maker costs. This is on you. I basically told that's on them.
Yeah.
For not knowing what this lifestyle, because that's truly what it is a lifestyle encompasses.
Yeah. It's a hobby. Yeah.
Okay, a little bit more follow up before we dive into the main topics today. You have a website announcement.
Yeah. You know, I think I talked about it a while ago that I was working on a replacement for the old crufty Libsyn automatically generated website.
Yep.
And it's like 2 months later than I expected it to be, but it's finally live. It's live. It's up.
It looks really good, man. I mean, you had done a sneak preview before of this, but it is now officially live. It looks great. And everything's working the way we want it to work. We have an official SSL cert now. We're big boys.
We're big boys.
We're big boys now. Big boys with certificates.
Oh yeah.
But it looks great, man. I mean, you really did. What is it? Doingbestpod.com?
Doingtheirbest.com.
Doingtheirbest.com.
Don't you listen to the the end of the podcast when I say everything over and over again? Yeah, doingtheirbest.com. Yep.
Yeah. And it looks great. I love our little pictures on there, and you got all the things.
Yeah.
Is everything still syncing correctly and everything to all the places?
Yeah, everything looks like it's absolutely fine. I'm trying to get Google to parse the it's all very stupid and complicated, but I'm trying to get as much as I can as far as the RSS feed to hit Libsyn directly instead of going through our website. And most of the other everyone else is happy except Google's like, hold on, what did they say? Hold on. Your request to change the served feed is pending and will take effect in a few days. It's been like a week. They're not doing shit. I don't know whether it's like a manual person who looks at it. But yeah, but it's fine. The all the old URLs still work. Everything redirects and stuff, so it's fine. They can take their damn time. But yeah.
Now remind me,
Mhm.
because it's been a hot minute since we talked about this. What is this? Is this all written in JavaScript? Is this all
Yeah.
written in
Yeah,
Node?
it's all Node using Express.js, which is a very very popular web framework for Node. So, yeah, it's using
Okay.
that. And there's a couple other things like it uses an open source package called, I think it's called what, Lyra? Lyra? Is that what it is? I should be more prepared. No, it is called Lyra. And that's what powers the search.
Got it. Yeah, the search is quite good. So if I type in let me try one here. Yeah, if I search for NVIDIA, there's
Yeah.
there's a lot.
It works pretty well, but it's also got this, what do they call it? It's called not basically it's got like a little, like it's got like a fuzz factor that you can crank from 0 up to 5, and I think I have it on 2, and it gets some like it must do like near misses or what it thinks are spelling issues, and you get some really weird search results. Like, why did it come up with that? But it's fine. It mostly gets what you think. So
software, as we have learned, is very hard.
Yeah, but it works. So.
Yep.
And it's better than so many websites, if you hit search, it just redirects to like Google with a site : name of their site. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, someone else already did this.
Yeah.
Just leverage their work.
Yeah, I want my own search, so that's what I did. Yep.
Okay.
It is I have some basic logging, and it is just absolutely amazing how many people crawl websites for WordPress vulnerabilities. It's just like constant. It's constant.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's constant. Yeah.
Wow. As someone who has a WordPress based website, I am relatively good at keeping it up to date. Mm-hmm. It's mostly the plugins, I think, that expose you.
Yeah.
You got to keep those babies up to date. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
It has been a hot minute since I asked. So now that you got the website up and running and it's there, not counting the WordPress vulnerability scans, how many visitors do we get to the website, and how many listeners do you think we're up to now?
Oh, I'd have to do some math on the website. Probably not very much.
I don't know how many people actually look at our show notes. At least on the website.
And that's a cool little feature I'll plug. You can just do doingtheirbest.com/the episode number. So this would be like 173, and it brings up the show notes. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's really good.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh wow, I found your equivalent of the fail whale page.
Yeah, the 404. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that beast is. Is it a bulldog penguin? What is that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, you found a little Easter egg. Okay, so it's a penguin dog. So because of the way that the website works, there is a period of time where the podcast is published and the RSS feed is updated, and the episode is out there, but the new episode page isn't out there. So I add a little bit of logic to like stub out that page, so it doesn't return a 404. So people get and beforehand. So there it is. It's a little, if you type in the next episode number, you'll see my little stub page. And
QA tester that I am, I'm like, well, we haven't published 173 yet, but you've already have 173 stubbed out.
It's always the next one.
Oh, I see. Okay, very clever.
Oh, Libsyn changed so much. They don't have that number. Oh, they made everything worse.
Okay.
Let's just do some quick back of the napkin math. According to my really crappy math, we have about 90 listeners. That seems high.
I don't know, buddy. There's a few people that I didn't expect to be listeners that have tapped me on the shoulder in various methods and said that they heard an episode. They usually take umbrage with something that we talked about, but people are listening.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, God willing, we'll get to 100. We'll have to do something special.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's dive into some stuff. So, I went to Micro Center today.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Did you buy a new video card?
I didn't.
Okay. What did you buy?
I got my new Mac.
You got a new Mac?
Got a new Mac.
What did you get?
I purchased a 16-inch Apple MacBook Pro M1.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
I really labored over whether or not I wanted to get the M2 MacBook Air.
Mm-hmm.
Micro Center's pretty great because they have at least one of the different things on display for you to use. I hadn't seen one of the new M2s in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to touch it and use it and everything. And it's a really, really pretty little machine, but I really wanted the extra screen real estate. So I sort of moseyed over to the other side of the display case and I saw the 14-inch MacBook Pros and the 16-inch MacBook Pros. And the price difference between a same spec machine of the 16-inch and the 14-inch was only a couple $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided to go with this one.
So which processor did you pick?
I just booted it back up because I was actually on here like I really haven't had a lot of time to play with it today because I've been hosting and doing other stuff, right? But let me get logged in here real quick.
Okay.
I'll give you all the details.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm a huge fan of this keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Keyboard's very nice. This is very fast, especially on login, much faster than my other computer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do about this Mac.
Okay.
He says, okay. Yeah, so it's an M1 Pro.
Okay.
16 gigs of RAM.
Nice.
Yeah. Apple Care Plus available for the next 61 days. How do I see like what is it? Is it 10 and 10 or 8 and 12? What's the number on this thing? I always forget how to do this. M1 Pro. I forgot how many processors this has.
The Pro has 10. It's a 10-core GPU. I think it's 8. This is all from memory. It's 8 high-end cores and 2 efficiency cores.
Yeah, let me double check.
And I think those are 16. Yeah, 16-core GPU. Yep.
Yeah, let me go there real quick. Oh no, what did this do? Edge, why you do this to me, Edge? I have software installed, but I don't have everything set up just the way I want yet.
Yeah.
I'm in that weird stage right now where it's like sort of ready and I still need to make it like my company managed thing. So let me do the 16-inch here. Let me find the one I bought. I got M1 Pro. What's the difference? Oh, so yeah, I have the 10-core CPU, 16-core GPU, 16 gig of memory, 512 gig of RAM, and Micro Center was selling it for $300 less than Apple.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was basically a wash with that versus what I could get through like an educator discount through my lady friend. But it's good. I'm really enjoying it so far. The notch does not annoy me at all. It's so responsive and so smooth, and this display is even nicer than my previous display, which I thought my previous display was pretty good, but this display is just bonkers good. But it's really nice, and that was sort of the main thing I went there for, because I need this for my work. And this is all business expense now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But yeah, that was like the main reason I wanted to go, because I've been wanting to get this up and going now for a while. I mean, I've been talking about buying a Mac for God knows how long at this point.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Those Apple Silicon chips are just it's amazing how fast they are and how smooth everything runs. And yeah.
Now fingers crossed, I haven't hit anything that has stopped me from saying, okay, this isn't going to be a machine I can use for my daily driver. I've got Homebrew installed. I've got all my developer tools installed. I got like VS Code and Edge, and all the stuff that I use on a daily basis are installed. I'm not even going to try to do Docker. I don't think I really need to right now.
I mean, that's the only real issues I ever came across, is you suddenly have to be really really aware of like your build architecture when you're doing Docker stuff, but it's totally surmountable. It's not, And I have ways to work around that here. Like I've got other hardware. If I really want to containerize something, I can make it work.
Yeah. Grievances. So the only thing I've really managed to do so far today is get it out of the box. The first thing I did was plug it in. I'm so glad to be back in the MagSafe lifestyle.
It's nice.
Yeah. And then I did all my updates. I finally upgraded to Ventura because I hadn't done that yet on my previous machine. In fact, if I hadn't bought this, my my plan all along was to get this machine over the break. If I hadn't, I was going to upgrade to Ventura on my existing MacBook Pro, but I'm glad that I didn't have to do that there because that one is so bloated and gross. And
Right.
I'm really excited to sort of let this take the reins of my official work machine so I can sort of decommission that one and use it for other stuff. But so far it's really good. I don't know how I feel about Ventura yet. I mean, I haven't noticed a difference. The new system preferences can eat a dick.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
it's fine. It's
It's fine.
fine-ish.
It's fine.
It's fine-ish.
Yeah. It's fine.
But it's pretty good so far. It's the 16-inch, which is just a hair bigger than my 15-inch MacBook Pro.
Yep.
I love the way that the case feels. It feels more square and secure and sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan of the keyboard. The Touch ID button is weird because I'm used to having the other Touch ID on the bar.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good so far.
Yeah, it's bigger. It's full sized.
It's a full size button.
Yeah.
Got a little nub there to rest your finger on.
Yep.
But so far so good. I really don't have any major grievances yet. I'm sure we can bring this as an item that can come back. Once I get a chance to really use it anymore. I haven't had a whole, like I said, I just haven't had a whole lot of time to get in here and play with it yet. Once I start installing like enterprise software TM on this thing, we'll see what happens. I'm really going to be curious how the stuff that I need to install to use it for work is going to go.
I mean, it should, in my experience, also having a work-based M1 Mac, it's all fine. Like, it's all, at least the stuff that, my work runs, it's still like Intel-based software, but it all still runs. Like, it's fine.
Now, here's the only question I have for you, and this is the only thing I'm unclear of. So I've got the LG display, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's Thunderbolt.
It is.
I'm assuming that there are Thunderbolt ports on this thing. It looks like there are.
There are. Yep.
4? I can still charge it through that, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, that's the only thing. Because I know it has the new MagSafe adapter, but as long as I can still plug my monitor in and it still charge it, I'll be good. Because I was thinking about, am I going to have to buy another MagSafe adapter, one for my bag and one for not? But
nope. Okay, you can still charge it on any port on that sucker. Any of the USB-C Thunderbolt ports, it all works. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
And I love that there's built-in HDMI.
Mm-hmm. You get the SD card slot too.
I got all the slots, baby. And I got space gray because that's the correct color.
It's fine. I wasn't even going to ask because I knew.
Yeah, I know. You know how I roll. I will say this though, that the M2 MacBook Air they had on display was the midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't love it.
Oh,
wasn't for me. It was just a little too. It was a little too dark.
It is dark. It is very dark. It looks almost black most of the time. But I still love it. Fingerprints and all.
Yeah, fingerprints and all.
Mm-hmm.
Any other piece of advice for me on this thing?
No, just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it. Just go and enjoy.
I mean, like, you get such amazing performance and such great battery life, and like I think at least one of the things I noticed, the Intel Macs, they were great. They make decent chips, but like they always like throttled down when you were on battery because otherwise they would just destroy the battery. And these Apple Silicon chips, these ARM chips don't have that problem. You get the same performance whether it's plugged in or not.
You know what's crazy? I had this plugged in upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I unboxed it at like my dining room and everything and plugged it in and let all the system updates run. And right before we were recording tonight, I unplugged it. I brought it downstairs and it was like 20 minutes before recording time. And I started installing software and doing things. And I haven't had this plugged in this whole time. Battery's still at 100%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let me go ahead and shut this down.
Okay.
That wasn't the only thing I bought at Micro Center today.
Okay.
I also finally got my second 4K monitor for my setup here.
Okay.
Previously I had the Gigabyte 32U. I basically got the next smaller size down. and I have it mounted in portrait mode next to my current monitor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm,
It's nice having everything at the same resolution now.
okay.
And this one was significantly cheaper because it was a smaller monitor. I didn't need another 32-incher over there. So I got that all plugged in and everything. And I also bought a new motherboard.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
it was a good day. It was a good day for Micro Center.
Mm. No,
For
why the new motherboard?
All right. So I'm still having intermittent issues with my graphics card.
Okay.
I have exhausted every troubleshooting step that does not require me to spend money or put things in the mail.
Okay.
So I have reached a point where I decided that while I was there today, I was going to buy another motherboard. This is here, I'll put the exact one. Asus Maximus. Yeah, this guy. I bought a, where's it at? The ROG Maximus Z790 Hero. Why is this important? It's important because this is the latest generation Intel chipset. My current motherboard is the Z690. The newest Intel processors will work on my existing motherboard. It has support for 12th and 13th gen. This does as well. But this, uses the newer chipset. It has a slightly different layout and architecture and capabilities. So my plan here is to plug this thing in and finally repair my liquid cooler while I'm in there.
Okay.
And then try it out and see if I still experience the problems, because I truly don't believe this is a graphics card problem that I'm having, where sometimes I get a display on boot and sometimes I don't. At this point, I truly feel it as some sort of incompatibility with my motherboard or my power supply. I am very reluctant to say it's my power supply, although that will be the cheaper part to replace. So I didn't have time to do it today. My project for tomorrow afternoon is to rip my existing motherboard out, replace all this stuff, and then put it back together and do some testing. I will say that this motherboard is nicer than the one that I have right now, insofar that it has more USB ports, which is always a plus.
Right.
And then I also bought another interesting piece of hardware. I bought, here it is. I'm going to put this link in the chat, and I just want you to read it back to me.
Okay. Opening link now. That's okay.
Okay. You're gonna have to click the English button at the top.
Oh, I sure am. Okay. Yeah. It's thermal-grizzly.com. This is the CPU contact frame for Intel 12th generation CPUs. Here's the copy. With the 12th gen CPU contact frame by Der 8 Hour. That's cute.
His name is DeBauer. Go on.
DeBauer. Okay. Thank you. Thermal Grizzly provides an assembly aid for Intel motherboards with the LGA 1700 socket. The contact frame replaces the mainboard's stock ILM to improve the cooling performance of CPU coolers through the optimized contact pressure. What the hell? Okay. What the hell, Drew?
All right. So when Intel initially released processors for the LGA 1700 socket size, they have a design flaw.
Okay.
The brackets, the retention brackets, known as the ILM, that holds the processor into the slot, is so strong that the motherboard will bow. Okay. And in doing so, any cooler that you mount to your processor cannot make sufficient contact, and then we're talking micrometers here, cannot sit flush when mounted to your processor. So this is a thing that basically replaces the retention bracket on my motherboard with a much less, what's the word I'm looking for here? Less less stress inducing mounting mechanism to keep the processor in the slot by letting you use this contact frame.
Okay.
There's been plenty of testing done on this. It's a known defect, and people that have reviewed this have seen pretty significant temperature drops under load when this is mounted to the motherboard. So basically, what you have to do, if you watch the video that's attached to this page, you don't have to watch it right now.
Which I'm not.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
I'm never gonna watch that. Yep.
Yeah, you basically screw this thing into your motherboard, and you have to be extremely precise with the amount of torque, because for all the design flaws of the current mounting ring and retention bracket, it's pretty idiot proof. Like, you put it in there, you push the clamp down, and you clamp it on, and you're done. This, because you don't have that, you have to have exacting tension on the screws to be like almost exact. And all the instructions and all the things that I've read online is what you basically want to do is you want to get like a Sharpie or something and mark the screws that you're using and make sure you turn them all the exact same amount. So it's going to be a very precise and very time-consuming mounting thing here. But they actually carry this Thermal Grizzly brand at Micro Center. So I saw one there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot and see how it goes. It's either going to be great or it's going to ruin everything. Because if you screw it in too hard, like, you will literally like break your processor. So it's going to be interesting. But I've put water in computers, so I feel like this should be a walk in the park.
Right.
Yeah. So I just, this is what you're missing when you're building computers these days.
I don't miss it at all.
I know. I just thought you would get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a productive day at Micro Center.
Cool. Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm excited to use the Mac some more. I'm actually going to set that aside now because you have a treat for our listeners.
It's finally time, Drew. It's time.
We have hinted at this. I'm going to sit back and shut up, and I'm going to let you tell a story.
Okay. So this is the story of Paul's house and the shit I've had to deal with for over 5 years, Drew.
Okay,
over 5 years.
I'm sorry. I gotta stop you already. Tell people why we're just hearing about it now.
Because the lawsuit has been settled.
Okay. That's a teaser. Continue.
Okay. So we moved into our house about 5 years ago, the summer of 2017. If you remember on previous episode, this whole story starts with my mailbox. So if you remember, dear listener, I have a vestigial mailbox. Then when they built the house, the home builder, which is Westport Homes, they no longer exist as a company, and you'll see why here in a second. They put a mailbox in my front yard, like a typical, like a mailbox. But the post office was like, we're not going to use those. You have to install lock boxes. So there was a period of time where to get my mail, I would have to drive to the post office. And that's just a giant pain in the ass. So we weren't getting our mail very often. So we finally, we went, I think it was me. I went to the post office and I got our mail, and I come home, and, it's the usual garbage in there. And there was also a letter from our home builder, Westport Homes. And the letter basically let us know that they did a little bit of an oopsie doopsie on our house. So, it's a modern home, right? It's a lot of prefabricated wood pieces that they just slap together. And, one of those pieces are, floor joists, and the floor joists that make up the floor of the first floor, or, the ceiling of the basement, if you will. In Ohio, there's certain regulations about basically mold resistance and stuff like that, because these things are in a basement, and basements are underground, and underground is inherently a damp environment. So they usually have to put a coating on these floor joists that live in your basement. The floor joists were made by a company that goes by the name of Weyerhaeuser. Uh, and that company, they had recently changed. The product is called like Flak Jacket or some shit like that, I believe. And they had recently changed the chemical formula for Flak Jacket, and the formula was emitting uh, unsafe levels of formaldehyde into my house. Uh, Formaldehyde is not a good chemical to have too much of in your house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The letter basically said, "Hey, we're not sure what we're going to be doing with about this yet. There's a couple of remediation options that we were investigating, and hey, when you get this, please give us a call." Uh, so we did. We gave them a call, and originally they just kind of wanted to do this thing where they like painted over it. Basically, they painted over the flak, the formaldehyde inducing coating on top of these, and you're like, that's not. I don't think that's right. uh, and they were just Westport Homes was just generally not very cooperative, or it may not have been that, but they didn't have their act together. That's for damn sure. I mean, and I get it, like panic, right? Like, like you build all these homes and like, oops, like, you made a mistake. But they were just having a hard time figuring out what they were going to do. And, they knew they were going to have to relocate us for a while, but, they were kind of dragging their heels on that, and they couldn't find a place because we had 2 dogs and 3 cats at the time, or 2 cats, 3 cats, I don't know, lots of too many cats. They really couldn't help us find anything with that, and like basically everybody on the street that I lived in was in the same boat as we were. uh Everyone was dealing with the same stuff. So the couple, the family across the street, they basically knocked on a whole bunch of doors one afternoon. They were like, "Hey, are you having problems with Westport Homes too?" I'm like, "Hey, we sure are." And like, we're thinking about like, like, hey, let's reach out to a lawyer and see if that would help things move along. And then, obviously, like, hey, like you broke my house. So like, see if we can get some compensation or some, I don't know, court justice out of it. So we decided that we would do that. So there was 8 families in total, and we found a lawyer, and let Westport know that, like, hey, we got a lawyer now. And then, hey, guess what, Drew? Things started moving for us.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. The lawyer really approached things in two phases. The first phase was like, hey, I want to make sure that like Westport does right by everybody, and a remediation strategy that is acceptable gets done, and everyone's home is safe and livable. And then after that, we'll figure out, basically, sue them. I mean, let's not beat around the bush too much. Is figure out what laws they broke, and sue them.
Right.
So in around October of 2017, we had to gather up all of our crap and basically get out of our house for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The remediation process, they farmed it out to a company called Blue Sky. So the remediation process, what we ended up deciding on doing was this process called cryoblasting, which sounds like something like Mr. Freeze would use, because that's pretty much what it is. They used dry ice. They basically blasted the coating with dry ice and then scraped a bunch of it off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, this coating is toxic, right? Sure. They admitted it has too much formaldehyde. So this would be an unsafe working condition for these workers. So what they would have to do is first they basically wanted to remove our entire HVAC system. Just take it out. Take it out. And then they're going to knock a hole in our basement to basically put in a like a negative pressure, a machine that would cause like negative pressure to force air out of the basement. So these people
similar to like a radon system, I imagine.
Exactly. But at the end, they would take it out and put everything back.
Okay.
Now, what they said was, hey, like, we get it. Like, you have a bunch of stuff in the basement. We'll move everything and deal with that. And Jennifer and I were like, the hell you will. And we found anything of value that was in our basement and got it out of there, which I'm really glad, because a lot of other families had they left stuff in their basement and a lot of the shit got broke. So which is unfortunate, but I'm kind of glad that we, took matters into our own hands and kind of, prepared the way, if you will, for these fine folks.
Yep.
And they did the job, Drew. They did the job.
They did the job.
They did the job. They got all the crap out, what they could, right? There were still some floor joists that were just like too close to the foundation of the house, so they can get one side and not the other. So they got everything they could, and but as you can imagine, it was a brand new house, and brand new houses need some time to settle a bit and whatnot. And this negative pressure like warped so much of our drywall and our ceilings and stuff. So we had to deal with Westport to come out do repair after repair and after repair. And we finally got everything satisfactory enough. It's still not perfect, but there's a point where you're just like, I don't want another person in my house right now. I'm just going to deal with this. So after that was all kind of said and done, during that time, they put us up in, basically what it was corporate housing, right? Like, it was a corporate apartment.
Right.
It was smaller than we were used to. We have it's a pretty good sized home, right? It's big, and we were crammed into a very small apartment. We had to take our cats with us, but we ended up having to basically find some friends to take our dogs during that time, because dealing with the pets was really the hardest part of this whole thing.
Sure.
Or at least this first part of this thing is making sure they were fine and happy. And then we got through all of that, and they did an air quality test, and determined that it was, while there was no formaldehyde, it was a safe level, and we can move back into our house. So we did. So Drew, before I go into phase 2, you have any questions about phase 1, the fixing, the remediation of the house?
No. So remind me though, right? Did the builder know that this was a defect?
So not when they put okay. The timeline is very interesting, Drew. So obviously there's a period of time between when Weyerhaeuser, the people that made the floor joists, informed the home builder, and then there's a period of time between then and when they informed us.
Okay.
So that period of time was like, I think it was about 2 weeks from when they knew, and then they sent us the letter.
Interesting.
One of the things that came out during the court proceedings is, during that time, after they knew and before they informed us, they actually closed on another house.
Oh,
And actually, like, gave the house to one of the families that was in the lawsuit. Uh, even though they
neat.
knew it was unsafe to move into and to sell. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it takes time. Like, you get this information and, corporate panic and bureaucracy and stuff. But like, I imagine the first thing that I would think of was like, hey, we probably shouldn't sell any more of these houses until we figure this out.
Sure.
And they did not do that.
Ah,
Uh, so yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you look into this, like the company that made the floor joists, they ship these things all over the country. Like
sure.
there are so many other lawsuits and reports of this all throughout. Like we were a drop in the bucket compared to everything else this company had to deal with. Uh,
Mm.
uh, yeah. So after that, the lawyers kind of switched into hey, we're gonna sue them mode. Uh, and lawyers don't do anything quickly at all. So they took some time to kind of build their case, and it just kind of drug on for like a few years before like they've it was probably maybe about a year before they actually filed the lawsuit. And then you kind of have to just wait for a judge to be assigned and for it to actually be a real thing. So things just kind of drug along and drug along. And it was right around it was probably a little bit before the whole COVID thing happened, where we entered the deposition phase, where their lawyers got to the basically. So we ended up suing Westport Warehouser and Blue Sky, the company that did the actual work, because we learned that Blue Sky, like they did all their works without permits or inspections.
Oh,
Yeah,
even better.
yeah. So we kind of sued all three of them, just for like, hey, like you put us out of our homes. One of our original suits was basically, hey, like you devalued our home because of all of this. We weren't exactly sure what the disclosures were going to look like. We understand that more now. So there's a bunch, there's a bunch of stuff there. And basically like, hey, fuck you. You put formaldehyde in my home. Pay up. So we did all the deposition. We started doing the deposition things, and then COVID hit. And my deposition was actually done remotely via Zoom. And because of COVID, like there is a good like 8 months where like the courts are just like, we ain't doing shit. This was at a federal level, and obviously it wasn't a criminal case, so basically a lot of those judges were just like, no, like we're done. And during out this whole time, like our lawyers are talking to their lawyers, and there was a period of time where like we finally got like assigned a judge to it was so the first thing the judge basically was like, hey, I'm gonna force you guys to go into arbitration and try to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lawyer worked with us in trying to figure out what was a good number, to basically ask for. And the other lawyers came back with a much lower number. And the arbitration, because there was like this it was all remote. It was really awkward because it was all virtual and remote, and there was an arbiter who'd jump into our chat room and we tell him stuff, and then he'd go join the other chat room and tell them. And there was a period of time when our lawyer, I remember very clearly, our lawyer was like, we got the like a counter from the other lawyers, and our lawyer said toward the arbiter, you can clean this up if you want, but you can tell them to go to hell. We're done. So the next big step there is both, because both lawyers basically put in motions to dismiss, like they put in a motion to dismiss the case completely, and we put in a motion to basically say nah. We had a day in court where the judge basically heard both sides from the lawyers, and then he went away for, geez, it was like a month and a half, and then he finally came out with his ruling, and basically it was like, hey, does this case have a legal precedent? Can it move forward? And I remember very clearly, like, before this whole thing happened, our lawyers were like, well, here's our number to settle. But if the judge hears the case and he decides the case can proceed, our number is going to go up. And they were like, nah, it'll be fine. Well, the judge basically sided with us completely. Basically said everything that the other lawyers were saying was bullshit, and everything we were saying was factually relevant, and the case could proceed. And there was another point where, I mean, they're federal judges, right? They probably get, probably there's how many cases they can get through in a given period of time, right? So like he's inclined to never not have this case go to trial, right? But we had a court date scheduled for December and everything, and but he kind of approached back. It's like, hey, I really want you guys to try to get this settled one last time, hopefully before Thanksgiving. So we both sides kind of met together again, and the lawyers, their lawyers were like, well, we realize that our number needs to come up a little bit, but your number needs to come down a little bit. And our lawyer was like, no, we told you if we got to this point, our number goes up. And in fact, here's our new number. While I am not at liberty to talk about details of the settlement, they eventually did decide to settle the case, and yeah, it's finally, like, this has been 5 years of my life, Drew, and it's finally over. The lawsuit has been settled, and it's nice to have this little bit of drama behind us, and yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously I have known about this for years.
Yes.
You have shared it with me what was happening, and
Mhm.
it's been awful. It's been super stressful for you. And I know you've been bursting to sort of talk about it. And I'm sure that it's a huge sort of relief off your shoulders that it's all done and everything. Now, my questions are this. The treatment, the thing that they did, is that like guaranteed forever?
So there was like a warranty that went along with that. One of the things we tried to get done was like periodic, like someone to come in every once in a while to check the air quality again, or put like a whole home air filter in. We couldn't get either one of those accomplished for long, complicated reasons. But other people in the neighborhood have done, we haven't yet, but have done their own air quality tests post the remediation, and everything seems to be fine. If we'd have left it to its own devices and like left the house empty for like 3 years, the problem would have solved itself, because the formaldehyde eventually like evaporates and goes into the air. So the numbers would have gone down. And, even though there was still some formaldehyde on those joists in the areas where they couldn't reach, right? Eventually would dissipate, right? And be gone. So at this point, like, the house is fine. We do have to disclose that the remediation was completed, but we have all the paperwork from that to kind of go along with all of that stuff. So that was actually one of the kind of things that kind of hurt us right there towards the end, because the housing market just like took off, and one of our things was, well, hey, the value of our homes has been decreased because of this. And then turns out Well, actually, I think originally there was 9 families in the case, and one of them was like, "Fuck it, we're out. We're selling our house, and we're moving. We're done with this." And like, and obviously, they sold their house in the kind of boom of the market, and like they made a good chunk of money. And their lawyers were like, "Ha ha." Your house hasn't been devalued because, obviously, look here, like it's fine. So that kind of sucked there for a while. But yeah, yeah. What was I went on a tangent, Drew. What was your question?
No, that was it, right? Like, is like, well, how do they know this problem isn't gonna come back and like make you sick again?
Yeah. Hopefully that should not be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not at liberty to talk about the specifics.
I am not at liberty to talk about the specifics of the settlement. No.
But are you happy with the settlement?
Yeah, I'm happy. Obviously the lawyer takes a good chunk out of the whole thing because that's just how that works.
Yep.
What I have been saying is that it's not a life-changing amount of money, but it's not nothing. So yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does it? And here's where my mind goes with something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you don't want to be in this house, even though this ordeal was sort of behind you?
There was a period of time where I was like, I don't want to live here anymore, or I just want to tear the house down and like rebuild it. And there was also a period of time where like I think I remembered saying this in my deposition. It was like one of the lawyers asked, like, what if someone knocked on your door and I'll buy your house for like, $500,000. And I was like, I honestly don't know if I would morally feel comfortable selling this house to anybody else. Like,
wow,
because of the issues. Now that, years have gone by and we understand things more. I don't think I feel the same way. And I'm watching other people in the neighborhood sell their houses that had this problem, and more people on the case for selling their house and stuff. I don't want to move again. So
yeah, moving sucks.
Moving sucks. So now that things are kind of taken care of, I just kind of want to die in this house. Not anytime soon, but eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, cool, buddy. I'm glad that you're finally able to talk about it. I know that you were super relieved when you sort of gave me the inside info, and we've been sort of teasing
because we had to move a podcast because I was having to talk.
That's right.
I've had to move so much stuff recently as like giving the lawyers a lot of time as we got through all of this. But yeah. If you're Google foo enough, like you can find the lawsuit filed with the federal court. You can see the judge's ruling. As of like a couple days ago, it has officially been settled, so the case is closed. Yeah.
Oh, cool, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's been a lot, huh?
Yeah, and and like Westport, because of all this, they basically like sold off most of their assets and became another company, which is real cute. And Weyerhaeuser, the company that made the floor joists, they are full of some of the scummiest people in the world, and I hope a plague on all their families. There we go. Just absolutely awful people. They all can go to hell. In fact, there's even some people inside of. There were some people at Westport, the home builders, that like really like the liaison that helped us find like the apartment and deal with all of that and help with their expensive. She was fine. One of the foreman who helped us with getting all the house repairs, he was fine. But like some of the executives and like upper ups and the managers at Westport, just absolutely shitty people. Just the worst people. Like, I understand it's a tough situation. You're trying to limit your company's liability, but like, just fucking do the right thing. Like,
right.
Come on. Like, you're literally poisoning people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, cool, buddy.
Oh.
but it's good. It's good. It's done and it's over
done.
now.
It's done and it's over. Yep.
Yep.
Case closed.
All right.
Oh.
Well, speaking of case closed, we've been talking for a while. So what do you say we wrap this one up?
Let's wrap this up. Hey, we're on the internet at doingtheirbest.com. Check out the brand new website. We're on Twitter, as long as Twitter continues to be a thing, at Doing Best Pod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
Still on Twitter for the time being at Pitfurg, PATTFURG, but that could change at any time.
He's making it hard, isn't he?
He's making it real fucking hard, buddy.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.